What's going on, Ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our podcast. My name is Veronica,
And I'm Chelsea.
and we are your hosts. On today's episode, we will be discussing our haunted location and serial killer of the week, as well as a tarot card reading at the end of the podcast. Now, unfortunately, I have to be honest with you guys, I am not drinking any coffee right now. Chelsea, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some cheap coffee from Folgers
Mm,
with M&M coffee creamer.
M&M coffee creamer?
Yeah, and you can't forget my peppermint stick either.
Oh. That's not, what did you call it? Cheap? I don't know. That kind of sounds fancy to me.
Well, the Folgers is cheap.
But you make it special.
You're right. I make everything special.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode. First of all, we are so happy, and grateful for all the support we've had from our friends and family. So thank you to all of you for sharing and listening. We're really excited to share episode 2 with you now, second week. I'm excited. Are you excited, Chelsea?
I'm beyond excited. We've already got 19 views, and I know that is such a small number, but for us, it is so big and so exciting.
Mm-hmm. Low key, like I know this is kind of dumb, but I was expecting a number around like 5 or 6.
I know, me too, and I think that's why it's like so exciting because it's like triple what we thought we were gonna get.
Yeah, I want to know who listened. But yeah, guys, let us know what you thought of the first episode. Let us know on our social medias. Like we said in episode 1, and if you weren't there for episode 1 and you're just skipping on to episode 2 for whatever reason, you go to our Instagram page at Tales of Spooky Coffee House. We do have a link tree in our bio, so you can find us in our other social medias. Yeah, just let us know what else you'd like to hear about, or just what you thought. All that being said, we're kind of taking turns each week on segments and introductions. So, Chelsea, you want to start us off with our first segment, Haunted Place of the Week?
Sure. So this week, I really tried to find something that was going to terrify me. And if you listen to episode 1, you know that I'm terrified of dolls.
Yes.
So for my haunted place, it's not really haunted so much as it is creepy, and that
Mm-hmm.
is Scarecrow Village, also known as Valley of Dolls in, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but we're going to go for it. Nagaro, Japan.
Okay, you know what you just reminded me of? I'm so sorry to interrupt.
What?
That episode of Supernatural with the scarecrow and how like the locals have to sacrifice couples or whatever in order to keep their crops alive.
Oh my gosh, there's probably a supernatural episode for like everything we're ever going to talk about.
Just supernatural references from now on, people.
Yeah, because that's like our number one show. I even got a
Hmm.
tattoo. So
A supernatural tattoo. You're dedicated. You're
wait, wait,
loyal.
wait. I gotta know. Are you a Sam girl or a Dean girl?
Oh, Dean, all the way. What the flip? He could take me
I had
anywhere
to
in that
ask because
Impala.
your interests might have changed over the years, but I see that we're still gonna fight over the same man. So
It's on, bitch. It's okay. I have a new man anyways, so honestly, you can have Dean. I'ma stick with my Pedro Pascal, so you can have him. Go for it.
okay, cool. Like, great. That's why we're best friends. Now we don't have to fight. Good job.
Exactly. We gotta find the middle ground, you know what I mean?
Okay, so back to what I was saying before I was very rudely interrupted.
Shut up. Anyways, go on.
The town of Nagaro is a
Hmm.
small village that's tucked into the valleys, and oh my gosh, here we go with this butchering the names again. Shikoku, Japan.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean,
so
it sounds right to me, you know what I mean? So I think you're fine.
well, I mean, yeah, it probably sounds great to us, but the Japanese are probably going to be like this stupid bitch.
Oh my God, I think that of you all the time. Oh wait, yes,
No,
continue.
you don't. No, you don't. You don't think that. You know what you think?
What?
This stupid Weta.
Nah. Okay, yeah, sometimes. Sometimes, I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie.
Anyway, there's only about 35 people that are living in this village, or I should say remaining in this village. There used to be an entire town full of people.
Mm-hmm.
An artist is creating life-size dolls in the shape of the people who have left or have died there.
I think I know what location you're talking about. I love this. Go on, go on.
In the last 10 years, this artist has made over 350 dolls.
Wow. And doesn't he put their actual clothes on them, like for some of them?
Some of them,
Like
yeah.
the people.
Yeah, but most of them are placed in spots that are sentimental to the people that the artist believes is sentimental. So,
Huh, that's a good poll. Do people find that sentimental or creepy?
yeah, I find it creepy because, like, okay, and so here's the thing, is this artist Ayano Tsutsumi, I probably definitely said that one wrong, was a
Mm-hmm.
longtime resident of the town. Returned to the village after 11 years of being away.
Mm-hmm.
And she found that a lot of her neighbors and friends had left for larger cities or had just passed away. For reference, passed away. She's 64 years old. She started making a scarecrow in the form of her father for her garden. That's how this whole thing started. Most of the residents were moving to bigger cities for convenience, and a lot of the small villages in Japan are becoming ghost towns. This was like her creative expression of how she felt about this change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the dolls don't last more than about 3 years or so because of
Mm-hmm.
weather conditions and all that. So she remakes these dolls every single time they fall apart.
Wow.
So, like I said, it's not scary or haunted, but it's really creepy. And
Mm-hmm.
I could just imagine like walking into a town and there just being dolls like all over the place. And they're not really dolls, like they're actually like scarecrow dolls. So could you just imagine going to all these places? And I don't know if it's just because
I am imagining it, and low key, my hands are a little clammy. I'm getting anxious.
I'm like, I don't know if it's because I just recently finally watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Uh-huh.
But have you watched that movie yet?
I haven't.
Yeah. So like we grew up on those stories, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
And it was like a huge part of our childhood. So like I still have all three of the books. But in the movie, they did the story about the scarecrow where the kid becomes the scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I just like happened to watch that at the right time with doing this research.
Hmm.
But when I was doing this research, I was really freaked out. I was like, because all I could picture is this scarecrow ingesting and like becoming this human. And I'm like, people didn't actually leave and they just like became scarecrows.
Oh no.
Like, I don't know if it just had something to do with that, but yeah. So you need
Ew,
to.
that makes it even more creepy if you ever set foot in that town, because you're gonna have that like thought in the back of your head. You're gonna walk through like these neighborhoods, you're gonna see these scarecrows, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like were you a person before?
Dude, like I'm serious. Like you need to like when we're done with this episode and stuff, like you need to go watch the movie.
Yes, ma'am. I will do it right after.
It's like in the first half hour of it and you just like you'll understand. Like just watch that and then picture what I'm talking about and it makes it like 10 times worse.
Ooh,
Anyway,
spooky. I love it. I love it. Uh-huh.
okay. So my question's for you.
Oh gosh, okay.
Would you visit your hometown that was basically a
Yes.
ghost town if there was a doll version of you
Yes.
in it?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, maybe you should let me ask the damn question first. You're so dumb.
Oh my god, that just got like instantly creepy.
You're like, yes, yes, yes. Oh no.
Um, uh,
Would you? Would you go visit?
I
Would you be
think I would. I think I'd be very curious to see. It'd be very creepy, possibly disturbing to see like my family in that way, if anything. But I think I'd just be curious to see I don't know, but no, it's kind of creepy. Damn it, Chelsea. Ah,
I could
I would do it. I would do it.
I could never. If you think you can do it, then you leave your house to me in your will, and if you die before me, I'll make sure to put Scarecrow Village
Wow. So
family.
this is what this is about? You're just trying to get my house? All right,
Yep.
Chelsea,
I'm gonna
I
put
see you.
Scarecrow versions of you and your entire family in that house.
I see your motive, man.
I'm gonna
You're
put
weird.
I'm gonna put little elementary school Veronica in there just as payback for being a bully.
Oh, that'd be so cute. I was cute when I was little with my pigtails and my braids. That wouldn't be creepy. It'd be creepy to you, but I'd do it. You can have my house then. Go for it. Just for that.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that this village seems like a hyped up village of voodoo dolls? Because to me it does. It sounds like they're all voodoo dolls and it's just like really hyped up because it's artsy.
Um, no, I don't think I'd see it that way. I mean, they're just there for like display, aren't they?
I mean, they could be, but who's to say they aren't voodoo dolls?
Well, until I hear like theories of how they may be using these scarecrows as voodoo dolls, no, for now, I know I don't see it that way.
Would you stay in the village overnight? How would
Um,
you feel being one of the few people left in the village and having all those dolls just surround you every moment of the day and every moment of the night?
okay, so put me in a scenario. How long do I have to stay here? What's the
Well,
challenge here?
we'll just say like overnight for now.
Overnight.
Yeah.
Am I alone or do I have people with me?
I mean, there's only 35 people in the entire village, so you would probably be alone.
I can't take people with me?
Well, I sure as fuck am gonna, or not. I'm not
Yeah,
going with
you're
you.
no, I know one I know would go with me probably. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I have too much like, well, no. Not by myself, no. I would want like a couple of people with me, like people I trust, and I don't know who would make a scary situation fun or like funny, you know? I mean, I would do that, but like I still need that kind of support for myself. So, but alone, definitely not.
So you'll never go visit.
No.
Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Why don't you give me the serial killer of the week?
Alrighty, Rue Boo. I have Yang Xinhai. A little background on Mr. Yang here. He was born the 29th of July, 1968. He was the youngest of four siblings and grew up in a very poor household. Yang dropped out of school at the age of 17 in 1985 and traveled to China to work as a laborer. So, the beginning of this whole ordeal. In 1988 and 1999, Yang was sentenced to labor camps for theft in four different cities. In 1996, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for attempted rape and was released in 1999. Little did everyone know it was only the beginning. Xinhai was nicknamed Monster Killer. Now, let's get into why. Okay, this this is gonna make me hide any possible weapon that I have in my house and hide it only to where I can see it. And this is why. Yang would enter his victims' homes at night and kill anyone in the home. His victims were mainly farmers, and he would kill his victims with a weapon found at the homes, which would usually be like axes, hammers, shovels, that kind of fun stuff. Now, when it came to his female victims, unfortunately, he would rape them before killing them. Yang was also known to wear bigger shoes and new clothes for each killing and would even attempt to clean up the crime scene afterward to avoid getting caught. Yang Xinhai would confess to committing, are you ready? 67 murders and 23 rapes between 1999 and 2003.
Oh my God, 4 years?
Yeah, that's a big number for such a short amount of time. This guy was
Yeah.
on a mission. I do have a couple questions really quick before I go on. Going back to this whole him using, a weapon he found at the home. I know this question's a little dark, but what would your weapon of choice be if you were a serial killer?
Butcher knife.
A butcher knife?
Actually, I can't really say, like, I'm actually not even sure that's the correct term for it. Maybe it's just because my favorite horror movie is Scream, but I could definitely see myself, like, killing people with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
The smoothness.
Oh God, you're going into detail. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like the smoothness of a sharp knife. Like, yeah.
Okay, next question. You're enjoying answering this question a little too much. So, the question is, and this is referring to me saying how he would wear bigger shoes and new clothes for each killing, and he would attempt to clean up the crime scene so he could avoid getting caught. Have you ever thought about this kind of stuff? Because I have. Like, if you were to commit a crime, what would you do to avoid getting caught?
I know exactly what I would do to avoid getting caught. And for legal reasons that may or may not exist now or in the future, I'm going to plead the fifth on that question.
Wait, I didn't know we were allowed to plead the fifth on these questions.
You never said we couldn't.
Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. Moving on.
I mean, hypothetical, like the question I asked you last week, would you have
I still
hated, like,
I
would
still
you have
answered it
hated to
eventually though.
Yeah, but like that was a hypothetical 400 years ago question. That's not a
Okay, so
realistic.
hypothetically speaking, if you were to commit a crime, what would you do to avoid getting caught?
I would hide the body really, really well.
Okay, so wow, you'd be a murderer. Okay. Um,
I mean, you've known
it's
me
commit a
for how
crime, not
many
commit a
years?
murder, but all right.
Oh, just a crime? Oh, okay. Well, you definitely have to make sure that you're wearing gloves. Like you can't have fingerprints. All your hair has got to be up. Like wear a beanie over that shit because you don't want hair follicles falling all over the place. And I mean, masks nowadays are so common. Like you could wear a mask and nobody would question you.
Yeah, nice try to cover that up. Yeah, what I would do, um, I think I would wear like I would do the same thing, wear bigger shoes and probably put socks in my shoes, like stuff them so I look taller, wear a wig, wear like a bodysuit type thing. Like I don't know what crime I'd be committing, but
Damn, you're going for a bodysuit. Shit.
hey man, you
I
gotta
was
think
just
things
gonna wear
through.
black jeans and a black top and then burn it later.
Let's go ahead and move on to my next part of this before we get a special call from, I don't know, the FBI or something. I don't know. This is hypothetically speaking, people. We're not being serious.
Well, I don't know if hypothetically, if Dr. Spencer Reed from the FBI called me, I would not complain.
Yeah, he is a cute, he lives in a haunted, like, tree house. Not tree house, maybe just a haunted house, but I'm pretty sure it was a tree house. But he lives in a haunted house.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Him in real life, oh my God, he's so adorable.
He's a goof. All right, so moving on to his arrest. On November 3rd, 2003, Yang was detained after acting suspicious during a routine police inspection. When taken in for questioning, the police soon realized he was wanted for murder. February 14th. Hey! Oh, wait. Yeah, we're recording on February 14th, posting this on Friday. 2004, Yang Xinhai was executed by a firing squad. And if you don't know what that means, it's a group of soldiers detailed to shoot a condemned person. It's when like the soldiers or whatever line up, point their guns to that one person and pew pew. Sorry, I meant yeah, I can't do a gun shooting noise, sorry.
Okay, so go over again. How was he caught? A routine inspection?
Just a simple ass routine police inspection. This fool was acting so suspicious that they took him in for questioning, and then they found out he was wanted for murder. So even when they first detained him, they didn't know he was wanted for murder. So this fool just gave himself up.
So, okay, I have two questions. What was the routine inspection like? Was it
Oh,
like a
I'm not sure. I'm
checkpoint?
assuming it's like yeah, like a checkpoint that we have here.
Okay, and then because like there's always like cops here in the US that are just like, don't flash your lights for like checkpoints and stuff like that because it does help catch killers.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But then how did they know he was wanted for murder? Like was it DNA, fingerprints, or did they
Probably.
already
I'm sure they found some kind of like evidence that led to them finding out who he was, because I'm sure when they detained him they either took his fingerprints or
Yeah, like I was just curious, like did they already have evidence or did they already have his name and they just realized who he was after they booked? Like I don't know.
yeah.
I go into too
I
much detail. I want to know all that stuff.
Yeah, all I know is that he was arrested for murder after he was detained simply for just acting suspicious during the inspection. Now, do
Don't
you want
be
to know?
suspicious. Don't be
Huh?
suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't do this. Don't do that. You're gonna distract me. Now, do you want to know what this guy's motive was?
Ooh, okay. I like motives. What's his motive?
According to media reports, his motive was revenge against society as a result of a breakup. However, the media would later change his motive to be his enjoyment of robbery, rape, and murder. I mean, no shit, right?
Yeah, I like the first motive better. Like, let's stick with that because that
It was
makes
because
people
of a
go,
breakup.
what? Yeah, that makes people like go like, what? Like, I gotta know more. The other one is just like
But like,
you
I
can't
mean,
connect with that. Like, I guess normal people would be like, who finds enjoyment in that? And then you have the psychos that is like, yeah, I get that, but then they like wouldn't read it. Like,
but like, okay, so like, if you were to go to a through a breakup, like that, it's just so hard to believe that. Well, I mean, I know people have issues. I mean, I have my own, but like, for someone to get broken up with, because the girl broke up with him, so for someone to like go through a breakup to now want to just not random people, but they were random, mainly farmers, like I said before. uh but like, I don't know, I feel like you would just want to go after that person that broke your heart, no?
so yeah, that would make sense. But also, like, I can understand like the snapping point,
Mm.
and we're not going to go into more detail than that. But yeah,
You've already done enough
I,
damage for yourself.
yeah, I really have. I can see the motive being caused by a breakup.
Now, even though Yang never provided motive, he was quoted saying this: "When I kill people, I had a desire. This inspired me to kill more. I don't care whether they deserve to live or not. It is none of my concern. I have no desire to be part of society. Society is not my concern." So
So that
I
kind of
just think
sounds
he hated people.
like a twisted reimagining of I had a dream.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's just the way that you read it, but like as
Hmm.
soon as you started reading it, I'm just like instant. I have a dream that one day.
I did want to read it with some like personality, like I didn't want to sound boring, so maybe it was just the way I was reading it. I could probably try to make it sound creepier. No, I'm
And
not
less
gonna do it.
motivational.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sounded very motivational. Like, you inspire me to kill people.
Yeah.
Okay,
When
so ending on that note, before we really dig ourselves into a hole,
hmm
we have a special tarot reading today for Bird.
Yes. The homie
Bird,
bird.
Bird is a person that one of us knows. We won't specify more than that. And she had three questions for us. The first question is, will she get over her breakup? And the card that was felt for this one was
Mhm.
the Temperance. All of these cards are upright, by the way, before we even
Okay.
get started. So with the Temperance and the question, will she get over her breakup? She needs to learn to bring about balance and stabilize her energy, patience, and moderation in her life. She needs to figure out how to let the life force flow through her without resistance. And
Okay.
she should avoid making any extreme decisions or actions and maintain a sense of calm within her life.
Okay.
Your second question, Bird, was, will you find someone else? And the card that was felt was the Page of Wands. And when it comes to finding somebody else, you are cheerful and full of energy. You have bright ideas and exciting plans. You are being creative and free thinking and finding your passion, making discoveries, doing all of this. Just make sure that you don't rush into things without considering the consequences. And doing that should help you lead or find your path to finding somebody else. And your last question, which has me very, very curious, is if,
Obviously, I know her, not you.
yeah, I know. Your last question, is your spell working? The card that was felt was the Seven of Wands. You have worked hard for where you are, but you're being challenged by opponents. You may be under attack, blamed, or scapegoated, but you're fighting your concern and standing up for your beliefs. You go if you're doing that. Like, you do that. You're defensive and determined, but your life is busy and challenging. So you have to have the stamina to endure it. So basically, you're going through a lot of shit, but you're gonna get through it. Just keep standing tall and fight your way through it.
And to my friend Bird, uh, and that is a nickname, by the way. Chelsea doesn't know anything, nothing. And Chelsea, I just want you to know that your messages were very clear. Like, well done, well done. I love this. I
I
love that we do tarot card readings.
For those that don't actually like know us, tarot cards have been in my life since I was very young. Um, I actually did a reading once while we were in, I think it was high school. Might have been freshman year, it might have been like eighth grade and middle school. But I did a tarot reading so well, and I didn't even know the question.
And you made her
Um,
cry.
yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I do. I
Yeah,
remember that clearly.
I made her cry so hard because she was so scared and just like so relieved at the same time. She didn't know how to
Yeah.
feel.
She was
And
straight up sobbing.
yeah, like she just like broke down in the middle of me talking and I'm like, "Oh my God, like what did I say?" And then she did tell us what was going on and I felt so bad and I was like, "Okay, but at the same time, like this is giving you good news, so don't freak out." And yeah, I don't I don't practice enough to have every single card memorized, especially
Mhm.
when I have 50 million decks.
Dex.
But I
That sounded like a different word.
when I have so many different sets of cards. Should we go with that? You're perverted. Get out of here.
That's what I heard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have so many sets of cards, so and each set of cards is different in meaning. Oh my gosh. And so I always just like go with what I feel is the interpretation,
Mhm.
not so much what the book explains the interpretation to be.
Mhm.
Especially when you're mixing cards. If you have like multiple cards, like you have to interpret that shit. You can't just read the book and expect to get a good answer because that's not how it works.
Yeah. You also have to trust your like your instinct. Like it's not just like the actual definition of the card, but it's what you sense and what you're feeling, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Um
I've
uh
always been really open to that.
so Bird, thank you so much for your questions. I hope the reading will help you. And that being said, if you guys are interested on a free tarot card reading, feel free to DM us, to tweet us. If you know us personally, text us. We'd be more than happy to do a tarot card reading for you. And on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us this week for episode 2. Make sure to give our social medias a follow where we will be answering questions and doing polls. If you want a tarot card reading, like I said before, feel free to DM us your questions. We are your hosts, Veronica.
And Chelsea.
Have a spooky weekend. Talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.